Okay, picture this with me. It's freezing, January 49 BCE, way back about 50 years before the Common Era really kicks off.
Right.
And there's this general, Julius Caesar, standing by a river in northern Italy. It doesn't look like much, this river.
Just a stream, really.
Exactly. But behind him, his legion, totally loyal, battle-tested guys. And in front of him, well, Rome, the Republic itself.
The heart of everything.
And this spot, this riverbank, it's more than just a place on a map. It's like a tipping point. One decision right here changes everything.
Absolutely everything. The course of history, really.
So today, that's what we're diving into, just for you, this moment. Caesar crossing the Rubicon. You hear the phrase all the time.
We do.
We'll unpack what it really meant back then, the history, the incredible stakes for him, for Rome, and how it left this legacy, this phrase we still use.
The point of no return.
Exactly. Our goal here is to give you a fast, but really solid understanding of why this matters so much. So yeah, let's get into it. First, to really get the weight of Caesar's choice, you need the background. The Roman Republic at this time, it wasn't exactly stable.
No, far from it. Idealized later, maybe, but not then.
By the 1st century BCE, Rome was huge, powerful, but it was kind of groaning under its own success, you could say.
It was straining at the seams. You had massive corruption.
Senators taking bribes, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Deep, deep political splits. Violence in the streets wasn't uncommon. Mobs could actually sway things.
Wow. And the generals.
Becoming incredibly powerful. More powerful sometimes than the actual politicians back in Rome. The system was fragile. Teetering, really.
And right in the middle of all this, Gaius Julius Caesar.
The man himself.
Not just a figure, but like a force of nature, almost. He just conquered Gaul, modern France, basically. Huge achievement.
Brilliant general, no question. And charismatic, too.
Yeah, apparently an amazing speaker. People loved him. The common folk and, crucially, his soldiers. They'd follow him anywhere.
And that level of popularity, that connection he had, that's what really scared his enemies in the Senate.
It wasn't just that he had power.
It was that he knew how to use it effectively.
Yeah.
He was good at politics, good at war, good at swaying people. A dangerous combination to them.
And his main rival, Pompey the Great.
Yeah, Pompey. They'd been allies once, part of the first triumvirate, but things soured. Pompey was now. Well, he'd sided with the Senate's conservative wing.
The guys who wanted to keep things as they were, preserve the old Republican traditions.
Exactly. The establishment, worried about this popular, ambitious general out in Gaul.
So, fearing Caesar's power, Pompey and the Senate, they make a move.
A very bold move. They issue a direct order. Caesar must disband his army, give up his command, and return to Rome. Alone.
Alone. That's the key part, isn't it? No army for protection.
Crucially, yes. And here's the thing. They probably knew, or at least strongly suspected, he wouldn't obey.
So what was the plan? Were they trying to force his hand? Box him in legally?
I think that's exactly it. It feels like a calculated provocation. Give him an impossible choice. Either give up everything, his power, his army, probably face prosecution from his enemies, or openly defy the Senate, which meant becoming an enemy of the state. They likely thought he'd blinked, choose survival over defiance. Maybe they underestimated him.
So fast forward. It's January 49 BCE. Caesar marches his army south from Gaul, and he arrives at the Rubicon River.
There it is.
And like I said, not the Mississippi, just a small river.
Pretty insignificant physically. You could probably wade across it easily in places.
But legally, in Roman law, it was huge.
Yeah.
This little stream marked the official boundary. North of it was the province Caesar governed. South of it, that was Italy proper. Sacred ground in a legal sense.
Absolutely. You did not bring an active army across the Rubicon into Italy.
And the consequence wasn't just a fine or a slap on the wrist.
It was automatic. Crossing the Rubicon with troops under arms was, by definition, treason. Sacrilege, even. An act of war against the Senate and people of Rome.
An act of rebellion. Full stop. The stakes just couldn't be higher.
Right. And you have to imagine Caesar there on the northern bank, pausing. He knew what crossing meant. It wasn't a casual step.
What do historians say? Was he really conflicted?
The sources, like Suetonius, Plutarch, they portray him as weighing it heavily. He understood it was binary. Either this move leads to ultimate power or complete ruin. His career, his life, everything. No going back.
Destroyed or ruler of Rome, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That was the gamble. And it's in this moment, Suetonius tells us, he says the famous words, in Latin, Alea iacta est.
The die is cast.
The die is cast. Meaning the decision's made, fate is in motion, let's see how the dice land. And then He ordered his men forward. He crossed the river.
And that phrase, crossing the Rubicon, it's stuck. We use it all the time now for any big, irreversible decision, the point of no return.
Absolutely. But for Caesar, it wasn't just a metaphor, was it? It was utterly literal. His life, his future, the future of Rome itself hung on that decision. The law was crystal clear. No armies in Italy, period.
He was literally gambling everything.
Everything. And it fundamentally changed things. The relationship between a general and the state. It set a precedent. Power taken by force.
How did Caesar see it? Did he just think rules are for other people?
Well, his justification, or at least the one passed down, is interesting. He didn't portray himself as a rebel out to destroy Rome. Quite the opposite.
He thought he was saving it.
In his view, yes. He argued the law was already broken. That his enemies in the Senate, the corrupt politicians, they were the ones twisting the rules for their own gain, blocking legitimate political paths for him. He felt cornered, unjustly treated.
So from his perspective, crossing the Rubicon wasn't betraying Rome.
It was liberating it, restoring proper order, albeit an order with him in charge. It's fascinating, isn't it? How historical figures justify actions that shatter the existing system. They often see themselves as reformers, even saviors.
Right. They're the heroes of their own story. Always.
Almost always. It's a useful lens for understanding history, I think.
So he crosses. What happens in Rome? Did they expect it?
Panic. Utter panic, by all accounts. The city was stunned. The Senate, which had tried to call his bluff, well, their bluff was called.
And Pompey, the great general supposed to defend the Republic.
He fled almost immediately, took ship, left Italy. Many senators went with him.
Why? Why didn't they fight then and there?
The hard reality was they had no army ready in Italy to match Caesar's veterans. His legions were battle-hardened from years in Gaul, fiercely loyal to him personally. Pompey needed time to raise troops in the east.
So Caesar just walked into Rome.
Pretty much unopposed, yes. Within weeks, it was a stunningly swift takeover of the capital.
But that wasn't the end of the war, right?
Oh, not even close. That was just the beginning. What followed was 4 years of brutal, grinding civil war.
Fought all over the Roman world.
Everywhere. Greece, Spain, North Africa, Egypt. Caesar had to hunt down Pompey and the senatorial forces relentlessly. Major battles, huge casualties.
And key figures fell.
Absolutely. Pompey himself was eventually defeated, fled to Egypt, and was assassinated there. Cato the Younger, a diehard defender of the Republic, chose suicide over surrender. Scipio, another major opponent, also defeated. It was bloody.
So by, what, 45 BCE?
By 45 BCE, the fighting was mostly over. Caesar stood supreme, unchallenged, the most powerful man in the Roman world without question.
And in doing so, he'd essentially done the unthinkable. He'd brought down a republic that had lasted almost 500 years.
5 centuries of Republican rule effectively ended by that one decision at the Rubicon and the war that followed. Astonishing, really.
What was his position then? King.
Not quite king. The Romans hated that word. But in 44 BCE, he was declared dictator perpetuo, dictator for life.
Dictator for life. Okay, that sounds pretty close to absolute rule.
It was. And this cemented the two views of him. To his supporters, the ones who benefited from his reforms, his stability, he was a savior. He'd ended the chaos, the corruption.
But to his opponents?
A tyrant. A man who used military might to destroy Roman liberty, even if he wore the mask of legality sometimes.
And that led, famously, to his end.
Just a year later, March 15th, 44 BCE, the Ides of March, assassinated, stabbed to death right on the floor of the Senate.
By his senators, some of whom he considered friends. Brutus, Cassius.
Exactly. Men who genuinely believed they were acting to save the Republic, to restore freedom by killing the perceived tyrant.
But here's the kicker, right? The Republic they thought they were saving.
It was already gone. In reality, it died the moment Caesar crossed that river, or perhaps even before, with the decay that made his rise possible. The assassination just led to more chaos, more civil war.
He didn't restore the old ways.
Not at all. Instead, out of that chaos rose Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian.
Who becomes Augustus?
Rome's first official emperor. So ironically, the attempt to save the Republic by killing Caesar actually just paved the way for the formal establishment of the empire.
All stemming back to that decision, that one step. It's incredible how one action can ripple outwards like that.
It really is. The Rubicon itself, it becomes more than just a river in Italy. It's a symbol. A historical threshold.
A point of no return.
Exactly. Crossing it wasn't just a military move, it was a choice. Choosing action, even dangerous action, over playing it safe. Choosing, perhaps, fate over fear. revolution over the existing rules. It represented military power crushing civilian authority.
And that echoes even today, doesn't it, when we say someone's crossed the Rubicon?
Absolutely. It still carries that weight. Caesar's boldness, maybe his arrogance, his ambition, but mostly that sense of irreversible step, a commitment you can't take back. Some doors only open one way.
So Caesar took the ultimate gamble there on the riverbank, risked absolutely everything.
His life, his reputation, Rome's future.
And he won, at least in the short term. He got the power he sought.
He did. He achieved his immediate goals, reshaped the Roman world forever.
Well, thanks for joining us to explore this. It's one of those moments in history that really does feel like a hinge point.
Definitely.
We hope this deep dive gave you, our listener, a clearer picture of Julius Caesar, that small river, and why his decision still echoes through time. It's a story with so much in it.
It really is. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to chew on as you think about Caesar and Rome's transformation.
Yeah.
History doesn't just happen, it marches.